Welcome to the Knitting Game and Other Stuff. I'm Leslie, your host, and this is episode 37 for October 17th, 2012. I want to start off the show by welcoming those of you who are new and welcoming back those of you who have joined me in the past. I love to do the show, and I love to know that it's making your day because that makes my day. TGIW, thank goodness it's Wednesday because I have a knit group at work finally, which is lovely, and I get to record on Wednesdays. So as long as I can make it to the middle of the week, I have something to look forward to. So either I'm looking forward to Wednesday or I'm looking forward to the weekend. So that makes everything much, much better. Okay, so first of all, if you would like to look at the show notes, because I do post them each week with links to vendors and projects, check out myordinaryjourney.com, all one word right there. That is my blog, and that has the show notes. It has the voting polls for the knitting game. It also has little things that I put up during the week, my shower thoughts if you're so inclined. So check those out, and hopefully I do things Monday through Friday, and if something really piques my curiosity and fancy over the weekends, I'll post something over the weekends. Usually not, but I take the weekends off because I'm pretty busy usually. So, first off, I would like to welcome our newest Ravelry group member. We do have a Ravelry group for the knitting game, and that would be Mary Reads a Lot. And Mary, welcome. So glad to have you. What kind of things do you like to read? Anything in particular? Let me know. All right, and we do have one birthday this week, and that is Knit Pearl Girl, Carrie from the Knit Pearl Girl podcast and website. So happy birthday. Some shout outs. The Calendar of Hope 2013, there's a link in the show notes. Goes, of course, it's October, so Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So if you'd like to check out the Calendar of Hope for 2013 that raises funds for breast cancer research, go ahead and check that out. Great stuff there. And an interesting little fact or event coming up. The Fredericksburg Area Museum, in conjunction with one of our local yarn shops, the Yarnery in downtown Fredericksburg, and also I believe the University of Mary Washington, is holding a yarn bombing at the end of the month, and they are soliciting swatches so that basically downtown Fredericksburg can become one big exhibit of fiber goodness. This week, or this month in October and into November in Fredericksburg, we have gone fiber crazy. So the Fredericksburg Spinners and Weavers Guild at the Liberty Town Arts Workshop, students from the University of Mary Washington in downtown Fredericksburg, the Fredericksburg Area Museum are all hosting exhibitions celebrating the fiber arts. So knitting, spinning, weaving, crochet, dyeing, quilting, felting, anything that you can think of that is fiber related. Fredericksburg is the place to be. So if you would like to get in and have one of your swatches in a major outdoor exhibition, go ahead and check out, there is a post and a link in the show notes about the yarn bombing event towards the end of the month, and thank you in advance. So the question of the week is, have you ever yarn bombed before? And if so, how did you do it? Was it a sponsored event like we're having here in Fredericksburg, or was it a very clandestine, secretive affair where you went out in the late evening and put up your little who's-its and what's-its of artwork out for everyone to see? I'd really be interested in hearing how you guys, and what you guys think of it. Do you think yarn bombing is vandalism or an elevated art form? So let me know. I'd love to hear what you have to say. It's all about you guys. I want to hear what you have to say. I talk and talk and talk and talk some more. So let me know what you think. I think that would be great. Okay, and just so you know, answer of the week, I've never yarn bombed, but I've seen a few, and they always make me giggle and feel very warm and happy inside. All right, folks, I am going to move on to the knitting game. As you know, we are coming to the end of the weekend hats knitting game, and this week was week number 4. So that means I have gone through all the patterns that I have chosen, and you guys have all voted. So now I am ready to announce the winner. Oh, very exciting. So this week, the returning champion is the Glasshood hat by Kate Osborne, and the challenger was the Drift Toque by Jocelyn Tooney. And thank you very much. One of the viewers was so gracious to say it's toe with a K at the end, and it's a typical Canadian way of saying beanie. So, the Drift Toque. I hope I am saying that right. So, who won, you may be asking? Well, with an overwhelming majority, 73% of the vote, the winner and grand champion of the weekend hats knitting game, and my next hat knit will be the Glass House hat. All right, so Glass House, that hat was a clean sweeper, and the only other time I have had a clean sweep on the knitting game was another hat, and that, if you remember, was the first knitting game. It was the lattice rib hat from the Classic Elite Quick Knit book. So when you guys like your hats, you like your hats. All right, so since the Glass House hat won, some little interesting factoids about it. It's going to take a fingering weight yarn. It's knit on size US 2 and US 4. So I'm guessing the ribbing is done in 2, and the body of the hat and the crown shaping is going to be done on the US 4s. I'm going to use probably size 16. Well, if I don't have size 16 twos, because I don't think I do, I think they're all longer, I'll probably magic loop it, and I will do that up the length of the hat. I probably have US size 4s. I don't think I have any interchangeables that go below 4, so I'm going to have to use a fixed 2, and I'll probably do a fixed 4 just to make sure that the join is nice and smooth. I might actually have some ChiaoGoo needles that I can use for that. So, fingering weight, size US 2 and US 4, that's 2.75 millimeter and 3.5 millimeter respectively. And it's going to take about 318 yards. So, I have to decide what kind of yarn I'm going to use. I don't know if I'm going to use yarn that I already have, because I have oodles of fingering weight yarn. I love it. It's my favorite. To me, it's the most versatile. You can make socks, you can make shawls, you can make hats, you can make fingerless gloves. It really is the most versatile depending on the project and the size of your needle. You really can't make comfortable socks that you're going to put in shoes with a bulky yarn Bulky is faster, and you can make some hats and sweaters and some scarves out of the bulky. But I really do think the fingering weight and maybe probably the sport really do give you the most versatility. Especially if you say you hold it maybe double stranded, then you can even do bigger projects. So there again, you've got a little bit of flexibility, which is nice. Okay, so some updates. I'm not going to talk about the Central Knits. I haven't gotten to that, so we'll move on. So the Easy 100th anniversary camping half circle shawl. That won the knitting game before this, so if you're new, it's a half circle shawl. It's done in a fingering weight yarn. I have a particular person in mind for this project, and it is going to be a Christmas present, but it'll be a surprise. I'm not going to say who it's for. I've been doing some yarn dyeing, and that's where I am in the project. I've picked the yarn that I want to use, and that's going to be Knit Picks Gloss, which is a wool and silk blend, 70-30 or 80-20, I can't remember offhand, but it's Knit Picks Gloss. And what I did is I picked up at first a light gray color, because what I was going for was a darker, more maroon red, and nothing really caught my fancy. So I thought to make the project, since I wasn't spinning the yarn myself, to make it more personal, I would dye the yarn. So I started off with a pretty light gray, a dove gray, heather gray color, and it wasn't quite dark enough. It was a brighter red. So what I decided to do is I went with a darker gray. And I'm dyeing this with Kool-Aid right now, because acid dyes just aren't in the mix. So I started to dye this week, and the first go around didn't go so well. I tried to put too much in the dye pot at one time, and I put it in one hank at a time. So of course the first hank sucked up all the dye, all the Kool-Aid, and the last one didn't get much. So this is kind of how, and I have like 4 or 3 and a little bit, because I had a little test bit. So this is kind of how it came out, and you can see the gray, the lighter red here, that's just the yarn that's holding it together, keeping it from separating or getting tangled up. But if you can see here, you can see on the inside how it's kind of not red all the way through. You can see the gray, and it's a little on the purpley side. Well, I got some more Kool-Aid because I ran out as part of the problem. I ran out, and I did some more dyeing last night, and this is what I came up with, and this is pretty close to what I wanted. So I did it in my crock pot, and I did it one hank at a time, and that's how I'm going to do it. So it's going to take a couple of days to get through all like 4 groups, and it's 5 cherry Kool-Aids and 1 lemonade, and that's how I came up with this color. So if you can see the difference, this is a little duller, this is a little zingier almost. So that's where I am with that. So I've got some more to do, dyeing to do. All right, so that is it for the knitting game, and when I get back, I'll start with the other stuff, so stay tuned, hold on. And we're back, so now we're ready for the other stuff. All right, so I don't have any finished objects per se this week. I think I'm just gonna stop where I am on my color affection. So here it is. I did another few repeats over the weekend, and this ending border stripe is supposed to be 2 inches long. Just wanted to make sure I was showing the right side. So this border green strip here is supposed to be about 2 inches long. The problem with that is I'm almost out of the green color. I don't have very much left. Probably just enough to bind off, and I really don't want to start and have to wind another ball of yarn just to do another couple of rows and bind off. So I may call it a stop at where I am and just bind it off. So I'm thinking that even though it's not bound off, that I haven't cast off yet, it's finished. So hopefully, I don't have anywhere to block it, so this one may not be blocked. I have a feeling it doesn't require points, and I'm not too concerned with it being very wide. I guess it would be good to do that just so the stitches would be a little bit evened out, because I can see through here as I'm looking some holes, some stitches that are bigger than others. But I'm not too concerned about blocking it. I'm not giving it away. I'm wearing it at the office because sometimes I'm freezing, and my little petal shawlette that has me on this shawl kick, it's nice. It's like a scarf, so my neck is nice and warm, but the rest of me is freezing cold. So technically it's still a work in progress, but I thought I'd share. I couldn't help it. You know, my Into the World, my Abercrombie on the deli base, the MCN that I got from Into the World that I showed you guys last week. I know I said that I wouldn't cast it on until I finished something. I couldn't help it. I had to cast on. So what I ended up casting on is the Koolhaas hat. It is designed by Jared Flood. And I bought this pattern because I love the architecture of the cable work here. And it is based on the architect Koolhaas, who designed the Seattle Public Library. And if you look at the pattern, I mean, it's gorgeous. The pattern really does reflect the architecture, and it's a beautiful, beautiful hat. And most of the patterns that I've seen, most of the projects I've seen that are on Ravelry are knit either with a slightly variegated or a semi-solid yarn. Nothing as vibrant as this Into the World loveliness. So this is kind of an interesting take, I think. So here it is. I've gotten through 3 full repeats of the 4 I'm going to do. And I don't know how well you can see the cable pattern come out. But it's really interesting, the pooling. Look at the pooling. It goes back and forth in kind of like these wavy zigzags, which gives it a whole complete different dimension. So not only I can see it sitting here, I don't know how well the camera and the light will pick it up, but I can see the back and forth of the cables crisscrossing, and I just love it because it's exactly what it looks like on the pattern. But then you've got this other layer of this zigzag back and forth, and it is just the coolest thing. I think it's the neatest thing ever. I don't know what your personal preference on pooling is, but I'm kind of digging this. I really do. So, I'm knitting these on my Knit Picks Interchangeables. The ribbing is knit on a size 6. And the hat itself is knit on a size 8. And if you can see, I only changed one of my needles. It's a little trick. I can be a tight knitter, almost on gauge, but maybe a little tighter. And this helps my stitches slide off a little bit easier, since it's the right hand needle that determines the size of the stitch. I just changed the right hand needle. For you, you're looking at it probably left, but it's my right. So this is a wooden needle, and this is one of my metal ones. So it's been working out fine and wonderful. And another thing that I've been experimenting with, I love to learn new things on projects. On my color affection, I learned how to carry the colors up the side of a work. On my, on my petal chalette, I learned some blocking things that I hadn't known before. Excuse me. So on this project, since every other row is cable work, I posted a tutorial about doing cables without a cable needle. And I've started to do that. And let me tell you, it has saved me oodles of time. I just cast this on Thursday. I don't think I could have been here without doing it without the cable needle. Excuse me. I was eating corn chips and I have a little piece stuck in my throat. Anyway, so, yeah. It has really been a lot of fun. You do have a controlled minor heart attack when you drop that one stitch before you pick it right up again. And I have been a wild and crazy woman because I've been knitting this in the car. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But it has been fun. So this is my Koolhaas hat. This is for me, and I'm going to love it because I already love it already, and it's not even finished. It's halfway done. So those are my real works in progress. Some knitting that I did over the weekend. I did random acts of charity knitting at the Let's Stitch event that the Fredericksburg Spinners and Weavers Guild and the Liberty Town Arts Workshop hosted this weekend. So I sat there with Stitches Please, and she's already finished her hat. I picked some homespun from Lion Brand and decided I was going to attempt to knit a seed stitch hat. It didn't work, so I stopped the hat, and I'm doing a garter stitch scarf right now, so I'll just keep going for a while. And that's what I worked on Saturday for knitting. So there was some other knitting, I'm not going to show it. It's just basic. It'll be warm and comforting to somebody. So, stash expansions. Okay, I hope y'all are sitting down because this is going to take a minute. Let's start. I donated, it seems like forever ago, to Grey Goose's Alzheimer's walk. My grandfather had Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's runs in the family. I am terrified of getting Alzheimer's myself, so I was more than happy to make a donation for her walk because I don't want Alzheimer's. And it would be wonderful if somebody could come up with a cure before I'm that age. And I really am I'm the quality of life that you have when you have Alzheimer's is just, I'd rather die in a tragic, horrific car accident way before my time if I don't have to live like that. So, anyway, I donated to Grey Goose's walk, and as part of that, Highland Handmaids from the Fiberista Files, Heather, had a contest, and I won. So what I ended up winning was this Highland Handmaids sugar maple sock yarn in the Unforgettable colorway. This is one of those extra dye in the dye pots, soak it up yarns, which is awesome because it's a one-off. She's never going to do this again. I am the only one that has this. This is like awesome sauce. So on this end, you can see it's kind of greenish. There's some yellow, some lighter green in here, and then there's some blues. You can see some sky blues, and then some tans and oranges, kind of soft salmony colors, and it transitions into this nice rich kind of gray sea, gray sky color. So really an amazing color palette, I think. It's really, really neat. And I will probably end up doing a shawl in this because the different colors, I want to be able to see them all. I don't want them hidden on my feet. So that was number one. I'll put that over there. So the next thing was another homage to the dye pot soakers. Really am into this lately. I hit Gnome Acres update, and she had surprise skeiny dippers. And the skeiny dippers are 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, and 10% nylon. And again, these are dye pot soakers. So when Amanda's done with dyeing and she's got extra dye in the pots, she takes one of these skeiny dippers and she soaks it all up. It's still a whole skein of sock yarn, sock weight, fingering weight yarn. So it's 434 yards. It's still a regular skein of yarn, but it's a surprise. So I ordered two, so I had no idea what color she was going to pick for me. So the first one is this kind of gray, blue, not very blue, but a little blue. If you look at it in the right light, it's this grayish blue, silver. It's a really great way to say it. So grayish blue silver yarn. And then like I said, I got two. So this is the second one. So it's this nice bright pumpkin orange with a little bit of yellow where it's not quite all the way through with the orange. So I don't know about them together in one piece. I might do two separate things. Not going to do socks. I was thinking maybe some fingerless mitts with this one and maybe a scarf or something with this. So that was my Gnome Acres that I hit up. Then I couldn't help myself. No. I had to get some Diabolical too. I was in a purchasing mood this week. So I picked up this Diabolical. This is her Alter Ego base. It is 100% superwash merino. And I cannot say this word. It's Themyscira. I'm sure it's from something. I don't know what it is. But I love how it's like rainbow-like colors, and it's very rainbow-y, but it's like richer. It's not a pastel. It's like the darker, but not quite primary colors. So I'm thinking socks for this. So, and it's that really nice, really tight spun. So I might try to do something that, like some sort of slip stitch pattern so I don't get any pooling on the socks so they match. So that was my stash expansion. That was so much fun this week. You guys, you dyers out there, I had a lot of fun this week looking at what you guys had. So moving on to spinning. I've had a really great spinning week. So let me start off. I finished the Falkland from Gnome Acres in the Loki colorway, and I applied it, and it sat on the bobbin forever. So I finally got it off of the bobbin, and yeah, here it is. I had it twisted up in a hank, and some places are underspun, some places are overspun. I have not washed it. I have not thwacked it. This is just straight. So this is a 2-ply. I got 740 yards in a 2-ply, and it is a sport weight through and through. While I was winding it off of the bobbin and onto my Swift, I stopped periodically and took measurements, and everywhere I stopped, I was getting consistently between 16 and 18 wraps per inch, which is technically a sport weight. So that's what I had. So the colors are beautiful. My daughter is just endlessly asking, when am I going to do something? So I have to figure out what I'm doing soon because she's just driving me nuts. So it's going to be a sport weight. I have plenty to do, fingerless mitts and a hat. And I think that's what I'm going to attempt. So that's that. That's finished. That's my in the hank. So on the bobbin, I finished doing the initial spin on my wool gatherings. I don't know where the end is. Excuse me. I guess I should bring some water in here because now I'm getting froggies in my throat, not the kind for knitting. So I finished the wool gatherings, and as you can see, it's pinks and purples and pinks and purples. And this is probably done, I would say it's probably a heavy lace weight single. And I was planning on just leaving it as a lace weight single. But I think I want to Navajo ply it. And that's fine with me. I'm going to try to do it. And I'm excited to see how much I actually get out. This was a 4-ounce braid. This was wool gatherings. And this is what I'm thinking I might do the glass house hat in once I get it plied up. I should have enough. If this was 700 and some odd yards, I should have 300 yards of this. So, we'll see. We'll know by next week. And then I started something that's been in my stash for quite some time, probably close to a year. This is Greenwood Fiberworks. This is 100% merino. I'm doing a 4-ounce braid, and this is in their blueberry smoothie. So I love this, and I hope you can see. You've got this hot pink, and then when it spins, you kind of get this cross between the purple and the pink, and then there's kind of this purpley part here, and then as you can see, there's like some green. Hopefully the light is showing well enough. There's some light green, and then there's some dark green. And this too I'm going to Navajo ply because I really like the color progression in the yarn, so I want to keep those pretty tight, and I will probably do very small chains to try to keep those progressions as close together as possible, instead of longer chains where you get a little bit of the barber pulling and more transition. This will turn out more self-striping if I keep the chains smaller. All right, so that was my spinning. That's what's on the bobbin. So I don't really have a true stash expansion when it comes to my spinning, but I did card some bats this weekend, and what I ended up doing is I had a kaleidoscope bat by Unwind Yarn Company, and it was in this beautiful kind of sea green, light pastel blue with some white, because it was wool and silk. And I decided to kick it up a notch, and if you can see, I carded it and I added some coppery Angelina to it. So now it's a sparkly bat. And my bats got so fluffy that I not only have one, I have two, and I have three. So I have 3 little mini bats now that I'm going to have to spin. And I'd like to try some core spinning. I haven't done that yet, and I'd have to find a yarn to use as the core. But it's in my bat bowl. So this is my bat bowl. It's very heavy. Okay, so the only other thing that I've worked on this week is I'm still tinkering around with doing a bag design, project bags. So this was my latest attempt. This is a pull string bag rather than a zip top. So you can see here on the inside, here is the lining. It's fully lined with no exposed seams, I'm happy to say. And the casing for the drawstring is the inside lining. And then there's just this little topper piece to try to make it a little bit taller. I have some nice little weighted beads on the drawstrings. And then I've got the tabs on the side. And I have one of the little carabiners to hook everything into. And on the inside, I didn't get to show you guys last time, But there is a tag. See, you can see that. Hopefully it focuses. Oops. So I have my tags. I put them in all my bags, even if I keep them, because you never know. But I have somebody in mind for this one. So Saturday, actually Friday, I have Friday off. I do a flex schedule. So I think I'll send that out on Friday to somebody. So I guess that's all I have this week. I feel like I should have more to talk about, but I don't. Oh, homecoming. Oh my goodness. Okay, so homecoming. My daughter is a senior in high school this year. She's got homecoming this week, so Friday night we get to escort her on the field for football because she's a marching band. And then Saturday is the dance. So Monday night, we went out, and that's the only day this week that she doesn't have band practice. So I took her shoe shopping. So she got her shoes and she got some earrings. And then Saturday, we're doing a girls' day. Dear husband is going hiking. My son, he's going to do some babysitting. But my daughter and I, we're going to go out and have pancakes for breakfast. And then we're going to do a little bit more shopping because she's got to pick up some odds and ends. And then we're going to go and she's going to get a mani-pedi and she's going to get her hair done. So it's going to be a girly Saturday, and all that waiting around means much knitting time for me. So I will be a happy camper. So yeah, homecoming. I can't believe 20 years since my homecoming, she's having hers. So it's going to be a great fun weekend. So that's like the big major thing is the homecoming this week. So yeah, so that's all I had. So now that I talked a little bit more, I'll let y'all go because I like to keep these a little bit short. So no voting this week, but tune in next week. I'll have a completely new knitting game ready to go. It might be yarn. You might help me choose the yarn that I knit the hat with. Maybe. We'll see. So, yeah, so come on back next week and you'll get to vote on something new. All right, everybody, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.